Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer and an astrologer and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Halloween! It is October 31st, 2020. As promised, I decided to kind of do something kind of special to celebrate the day. I had mentioned in the weekly energy card reading for this week that I have a tradition that I share with my parents that we like to watch a television show that plays movie monsters, like film noir movies, you know, like Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, and it's a show called Svengoolie that comes on every week. In the weekly energy card reading, I think I did have a little bit of a typo. This week, because Halloween is falling on a Saturday, which is really exciting, and it's also a full blue moon. It's the second full moon in a month, and it's the 31st, and it's a full moon in Taurus. I decided that the movie that they're playing in Svengoolie it's a show that I watch with my parents all the time. They're playing Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. I thought it was Dracula meets the Wolfman, but it's Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. And so what I did is I went ahead and I sent I found this little cute little kitschy keychain, and what it is it's a mystery monster. And what it is there's cardboard in here, so you can't feel what the monster is. I think they got smart about that because, you know, you see these keychains for different things like, you know, superheroes and stuff. And sometimes you can feel through the bag which one you're going to get. But here they have cardboard, so I really don't know which monster I'm going to get. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pick-a-pile reading, and then at the conclusion of the reading, I'm going to go ahead and open my monster, which I promised to do, and I'm also going to share pictures of it over on Instagram. So my Instagram is soulsymbols.yt for YouTube, so it's soulsymbols.yt. And my parents, my mom and my stepdad, also got one of these in the mail from me. So we're gonna open, just kind of as a virtual distanced, you know, tradition. I'm gonna open my monster, and they're gonna open theirs. So we're gonna see who got what, what our monster is. And I'll go ahead and do that at the conclusion of this video. I'll go ahead and put a timestamp on it where if you don't want to participate in the pick-a-pile, you can go straight to the monster reveal. And again, I will also post it over on Instagram. So what I decided to do, and this is very impromptu, I did not anticipate doing this, and I thought, you know, it's Halloween, it's on a Saturday. I know a lot of us are feeling real meh because it's 2020 and it's been a year, but to do something kind of fun, I went ahead and I'm going to do a pick-a-pile. So I have 3 sets of oracle cards here. I have the Gospel of the Arcadia by Stacey Demarco. We've got the Archetype cards by Myss. And then we've got the Ask Your Guides Oracle cards by Sonia, Choquette. And all of the names of the authors in the decks are in the description box. But what I'm going to do is, you the watcher, I'm going to make it real quick. This is not going to be a long read. But we're going to go ahead and see, what is your full blue moon energy? What's your Halloween energy? What's your mystery monster energy for the day, right? So those 3 oracle cards, and that it is just one card from each deck. Is going to go ahead and see what your energy, what your archetype is for the day. And this is all in good fun. This is just for entertainment purposes only. And in celebration of Halloween, we got to do something fun, right? Got to shake it up. Shake it up. And so I have 5 movie monsters here. And what I'll do is, in a minute, we're going to put a freeze frame up where you have time to choose. But the first one, we have the Mummy. And the second one, we have Bride of Frankenstein. Third, we have the Wolfman, which is going to be a fun one with it being a full blue moon. The fourth one, we got the Witch, or if you like, you know, if you like the Wicked Witch of the West, or any of the plays or movies that have talked about her, she's a fun character, and she's a witch for the day. And then the last one is a zombie. And again, I'll go ahead and I'll do a freeze frame. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move our other decks up a bit. Not other decks, I'm sorry, I'm so used to working with decks. Our other piles. I'm going to move our other piles up. And we're going to start with The Mummy. Mummy. We got some beautiful natural lighting today, and we got my new tablecloth, which is the pumpkins and the cats, and has little pumpkins, cats, and owls. And I did bring out the books for two of the oracle decks just in case we need them. I'm gonna try not to read too much, but I put my pumpkin on top as kind of a paperweight. But all right, mummy people, let's go ahead and see what's your full moon and full moon. Oh my gosh! Wow, guys. So wow, from the ask your guides deck, you got rest. From the archetype card, you got gambler. And under the Gospel of the Arcadia, you got the La Luna card, which is a full moon, which is so cool, because we just talked about that. So let me do this real quick. I am gonna utilize the books for some of this just because they have really good messages and they just describe it. And there's also numbers on this first card. So you got number 24, which combines to a 6. And here it says, our culturally perverse notion is doing is the correct use of time, and that doing nothing is a complete waste of time. Has indeed made us a sick society. Your overwhelming desire to back off from this whirlwind of activity and take a break, even throw the towel in altogether, isn't crazy or unrealistic. It's a direct summons from the Holy Spirit to withdraw your attention from the outer world and reconnect with your soul. Your life is not to be frittered away in meaningless, unexamined activity. You came in with a purpose and specific soul intentions that are being neglected. They are now knocking on the door of your attention, reminding you that you have commitments to keep. If you don't heed this call and begin to self-examine, you may enter a dark night of the soul, a time where nothing feels meaningful. Listen to the Holy Spirit and open your heart to its direction. Take lots of time to be alone and get in touch with your soul. Write in a journal, seek counseling, and pray. Allow yourself to be in direct contact with the guiding wisdom of the Holy Spirit on a daily basis. Withdrawing from the world, whether through contemplation, meditation, or even a sabbatical, is the most powerful way to use your time right now. The Holy Spirit is guiding you in your quiet movements. It's a message. Make time for yourself. I think that's really beautiful. Now, this deck does tend to get a little bit more biblical, like it does reference God, but whatever your beliefs, because honestly, the Gospel of the Arcadia is a little bit more of a Wiccan deck too, as well. It's more of a general kind of earth magic kind of energy. But with rest, it's definitely saying, we have a dove here and we have a stag. I think that you've really been leading a lot. I think you've been getting a lot of work done. And what it's telling you is that if you want to rest today, you've been crazy productive. You don't need to like here with the mummy, he looks tired, right? Maybe you've been getting no sleep. Maybe you've been living off caffeine. I'm really getting that vibe. And it's interesting how this person is sitting in a lounge chair and he's reading, right? Maybe you just want to read today. Maybe you don't want to exert any energy, and that is completely okay. The other thing that message really said is that there's some kind of inner purpose. There's something else that you like to do that is really your soul's purpose, right? Because the other thing is the full moon today is a culmination of a cycle. It's the apex, right? The next 2 weeks is going to be winding down from the fruition. And we are in a Mercury retrograde. And the other thing about the full moon is that there's a lot of Scorpio and Taurus energy in the sky. Also a lot of Aries and Libra in the late degrees. So you might be feeling kind of tired if you have planets that are in the late degrees of Cancer or Capricorn, like anything from 20 degrees to 29 degrees, and that can be any planet in your chart. You might be feeling really worn out. The other thing that I get is that you've been real productive, and so you're kind of on autopilot where you're thinking, okay, if I do nothing, I'm being lazy. You're not being lazy. It's actually kind of telling you, Spirit's kind of entreating you, saying, look, we've come to the apex of this cycle. Breathe a little, breathe. The other thing is with Gambler, it says, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. The other thing that I kind of get with this is that maybe, The shadow attribute is relying on luck rather than hard work. But with this, I kind of get the sense that with it saying following intuition and rest, it's telling you to follow your gut. If you're being drawn to do something creative today, whether that's journaling or reading, because again, I feel like you've been all wrapped up. That's what I'm getting. I'm all wrapped up. Maybe you've been all wrapped up in work. Maybe you've been all wrapped up in family. Maybe you've been giving your energy away. And maybe all you want to do is like for instance, I love to scrapbook. I think just 10 minutes scrapbooking, I think the universe is really entreating you. It's saying, go ahead and do what you like to do today. Whatever relaxation, especially if it's some kind of hobby, that hobby is not wasted time. That hobby is valuable to both your psychological and emotional health, but I'm also getting a vibe, especially with this, is that it might be some other calling in your life that makes you a lot happier. The other thing is that I would probably kind of ease up, and I'm a hypocrite because I love coffee, but you might want to ease up if you've either been, not eating anything and living off coffee and donuts, kind of, eat some vegetables, drink a little bit more water. I think it's just kind of telling you to kind of rejuvenate yourself. The other thing is that the moon, full moons in particular, it's scientifically proven that the moon pulls on the tides, right? And a full moon means that it's close to the earth, like it's got a strong pull on you. So the water in your body, believe it or not, the reason that people talk about people getting loony on a full moon is because humans are like 80% water, and so there might be a little craziness tonight. Also, if you have any planets that are in fixed signs like Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo, around the 8-degree mark, especially Aquarius and Leo, you're going to be feeling it kind of tonight. You might be, what it's also kind of advising is maybe, stay away from the fray. If you know that you're kind of in an end of your rope kind of mood, go ahead and stay away from activity, read or just do what decompresses you. But I'm going to go ahead and read the Luna real quick. Everything has its cycles. Energy waxes and wanes. So respect the fact that you cannot be at full power at all times. Be grateful for what you have today, rather than feeling disappointment about what you do not have. Set new intentions for what you would like to have. Magic is real. Now use it. I get a real magician energy from that. So I do think that, it's just letting you know, again, we've come to a culmination of the cycle. The last 2 weeks might have been very productive for you, and you're at a nice plateau with it, right? You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to, what I'm kind of getting is that you might feel like you're kind of on, like you're probably almost jittery, have you ever gotten, maybe you have a demanding job that, the moment you hear, it's got you conditioned that the moment you hear the ding of your text message go off, you start to twitch a little bit, like, oh God, there's more I got to do. But just know that lunar energy, that energy that you're using, put it towards something that's relaxing to you, or something that's a positive outlet for you. Because that positive outlet is not only serves you, but it develops some kind of latent talent that you're meant to develop in this life, right? It doesn't all have to be work or home or putting your energy into other things. The other thing is I do see one person in all of these cards. So here I just think that it's kind of telling you to make some time for yourself today. But wow, guys, that was real good. I liked the energies in that. And definitely, yeah, take it easy. Take it easy. All right, so moving on. We got Bride of Frankenstein. I love her. And actually, my mystery monster, I think she is one of them. I hope I get her. I don't know. We're going to find out. In a little while, we're going to find out. So if once you're done with your reading, stay tuned to the end, or click on the timestamp to see which one I got. So Bride of Frankenstein, you got competition, you got God, and you got dreams. And there's a full moon in the background of dreams here, guys. And again, today is a full moon. What they call a blue moon. If you've ever heard the expression once in a blue moon, it really has been like 72 years since we've had one. And the definition of a blue moon, and the reason why it's once in a blue moon, meaning that it, once in a long time, is that a blue moon is the second full moon in a single month. And it doesn't happen often. It happens really rarely. So what it does is, it's a rare occurrence, and to be on Halloween on a Saturday, and it's so funny. I keep seeing memes that talked about how 2020, Cinco de Mayo was on a Taco Tuesday, and I think Christmas Eve is gonna be on a Friday, and everything is kicking off like a 3-day weekend, and hello, global pandemic that's just changing the very foundation of how we do everything. So, I'm not knocking it. I'm grateful. I'm thankful that everyone is doing their due diligence and staying safe and probably not trick or treating tonight, which is not a bad thing. But it's just one of those things where, I just feel like, Halloween, this really does not only full moons represent the conclusion of a 2-week cycle, like everything will be kind of winding down, but the full moon also kind of is it's like a point in time that says, okay, you're gearing up for a new cycle. And what you got competition, and this is one of my favorite cards. You see two people kind of on a tug of war, and you see these kind of spirit guides, right? And it says warrior guides. And the number for this card is 17, which combines to make an 8. So, and all the planets in the, oh my gosh, guys, all the planets in the sky today with the full moon, the sun is 8 degrees in Scorpio, the moon is 8 degrees Taurus, and Uranus is 8 degrees Taurus. And that's a real tug of war in the sky, because the sun, anytime you have a full moon, the sun is always opposite the moon at the exact degree. So you might very well have Scorpio at 8 degrees, or some other fixed planet at 8 degrees in your chart. So I'm just going to read it real quick. I'm not trying to read at you, but both of these books, both of these oracles have beautiful messages. So we'll keep it concise. But it means strife, arguments, and conflicts. So again, fixed signs like Taurus and other Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, you are the get it done people. And the other thing is you're kind of the get it done your way people. So if you're feeling this full moon, you're probably feeling it. It probably feels like everything's opposed, like nothing is getting done the way that it should be. But it's not to detour you. This is just your energy for the day, and energy changes from moment to moment. But so what it is this is a time of conflict and challenge, pure and simple. No matter how you look at it, confrontation and discord are on their horizons. Others don't agree with you or see your perspective, and they don't intend to cooperate with you in any way. This could surface in such serious ways as legal battles, divorce proceedings, and contract negotiations. Or it could just be an impasse with a spouse over a raised toilet seat, or I'm just going to interject, or a neighbor over, an inflatable bat on their lawn or something. Whatever the issue, there's no immediate or easy resolution. You've attracted a worthy opponent, so prepare to go the distance. This is not to assume, however, that such combative scenarios are always a bad thing. Your warrior guides are present to enlighten you about the benefits of sparring with others. Competition brings out your best and unleashes your passion and commitment in what you believe in. It develops your strength and prevents you from being victimized or manipulated by others. And it teaches you the need to respect others, too, and not mindlessly impose your will on them. Your warrior guides suggest that when you do battle with others, it's best to fight fairly and learn from the conflict. Don't compete just to let off steam. Fight for progress and higher understanding for all concerned, other than just being difficult to get your own way. Hidden within the drama of battle and competition are the seeds of true understanding and compassion. The best spiritual warriors always strive for a win-win outcome. Your warrior guides suggest that you embrace the battles at hand and find your strength and reach for growth. Fight the good fight with your adversaries, but pray that divine justice will prevail. Not just your personal vision of justice. Their message is clear. Fight fair, but concede when you are wrong. Wow, guys. So this is really powerful. And the other thing that I love this card because it's interesting. I have a stellium in Libra, and my south node is in Aries. And what that kind of means is it means that if you believe in previous lifetimes, it means that I had many lifetimes of being a warrior. which is not a bad thing. The Aries is a dynamic energy. It's a fighter's energy. It's what you need. Like they said, it teaches you to fight for what you believe in, to stand strong for what you want. But the other side of it is that the Libra energy is that not everyone around you is your enemy. It's not your way or the highway, right? It's not emperor. It's and like you see, with Bride of Frankenstein, that is an interesting energy. It's almost, Frankenstein is this, kind of monster that goes through and does what he wants. Bride of Frankenstein is a little bit more of a yin energy. She's more receptive, right? She's almost the feminine counterpart to all of that strong drive. And so what it's kind of telling you is it's saying that you might be in a tug of war with someone. You might be trying to get your own way. And sometimes we get those blinders on when we want it our way. But competition isn't bad, and it's funny. I'm learning this on my life journey too. Cooperation doesn't mean that you're conceding on what you believe. It just means that sometimes when you fight with someone, they really do teach you things about yourself that you need to learn. And it talked about not imposing your will on someone. Maybe you really do want it to be your way, right? And the second card is kind of plays into that. It says benevolence and compassion, recognizing the external force within yourself and others. And then the shadow attributes is despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. And so you got God here. And what it is what I read with that is that is a little bit of a power player, right? Maybe you have a lot of clout. Maybe you could crush somebody just because you want to, and maybe someone's standing up to you. It's not a bad thing, but again, I saw a great meme that came on Facebook the other day that says, just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that it doesn't, it doesn't need to be fixed. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes it's like, well, the way I live my life and the way I do things is fine. I've never had a problem. But someone who's had, that way of life doesn't work for them, be empathetic to that, right? The other thing is, just because, the other thing is, I always just think of this card as life is short. Life is short. Making sure that something that the laundry is done in ABC order is not important. It's not important. Yes, it's efficient, but it really becomes the dirge, and it becomes the source of your misery if that's all that you care about, right? Life gets messy sometimes, and sometimes it isn't a clear path from A to Z. And honestly, I'm a firm believer, and I've learned, because I'm a complete hypocrite. When I was young, I was such a stickler that things be done in this order. I don't know if it's, I was raised in a real military family, so I don't know if that contributes to that. It's not a bad thing, I'm very organized, but it's one of those things where it's a maker of misery if doing something the right way the first time is not the pinnacle of experience. The pinnacle experience is having connections with other people, making a mess and enjoying it. And it's also that, again, it's not going to be by your rules. If you're imposing rules on someone, if you're saying, I want it done this way, or it has to be this, sometimes you're going to get someone. And the other thing is that the respect for your opponent, it said that too. You're going to be going up against a strong opponent. You're going to meet your match. And that's not a bad thing, because when you meet your match, you're meeting someone of equal energy that can really show you something. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to concede, but this experience, someone pushing back against you, can really teach you a lot about both the situation and the way that you're doing things. So, but it's telling you to stay in the light attribute of this. Show benevolence, show compassion, recognize where the other person's coming from. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to do things their way. Ideally, you can aim for that win-win situation, right? And what you can do is, along the way, you can learn something about yourself. The other thing that I kind of get from this is really listening to the other person. I think that we're in a really bad epidemic where we speak to be heard, and the other thing is that we never see the good in things. We vent to other people. Well, I don't like this. I don't like how this was done. I don't like how that was done. Do you ever say what you do like? Without an and, without a but, without a but this. Say what you like, not what you dislike. And the other thing is, listen to someone else. Ask someone else what they like, right? And, listen to their experiences. See where they've been. They talk about how other people have been on a journey. find out what their journey is. And God is, when I see God, I think of that too. You know how when you pray to God for him to listen, to understand your side and to help you, that's kind of the energy. Let God work through you. I'm not saying that you are, you're not God, but let him work through you, where you're using the conduit of power to a positive end. And actually listen to the person who's talking to you. Let them express what they're going through. Don't harp on the negative. The other thing is through dreams. We've got dreams are a normal, healthy part of its sleep cycle. Acknowledging our dreaming selves can help us both open and deepen our relationship with the divine. Take particular heed of any reoccurring dreams. Now, a lot of spiritualists believe that with full moons, especially this one, we're going into a cycle where they call it the veil being thin. And I don't want that to sound too woo-woo. I'm not trying to freak anyone out, because again, it can be more of a spiritual sense too. And again, the moon is really, it's full, and the moon pulls on the tides, and humans are 70% water. You're going to feel it, right? But I would say that in the next couple of days, either last night, tonight, or tomorrow, if you've had some kind of dream, especially about if you are in some kind of conflict, if you've had some kind of dream, look it up online. Look up the specifics. I had a real vivid dream last night. I was looking it up and I was like, wow, that's profound. So you might be getting hints on how to handle this situation through your dreams. But I do think that you have a lot of power, and you have a lot of divinity about you, but it's almost like you got to pick your battles, or the spirit guides are really asking you to learn from a conflict situation, and to not, to use your power wisely, and to pay attention to your dreams. But wow, guys, that's really interesting energy. I really like that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep these brief. I know I ramble on. All right, third pile. This is a great one. And it's a full moon, and you pick the Wolfman. Wolfman. Oh, 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 oh. All right. And actually, I did send one of my movie monsters to one of my coworkers, and it was so cool. And she got Wolfman. He was really cute. I think he's kind of soft. He's a softy guy. Like I don't think it's a hard plastic toy, but we're gonna find out. And again, when you're done with your reading, if you want to click on the timestamp, we're gonna figure out which monster I got. So let's go ahead and see. We've got Gaia, physical body. We got child, magical, and you got union. Oh, all right, Wolfman people. Right off the cuff, I'm getting a real puppy dog kind of energy from you. And oh, sweet guys. Can I just tell you, we've got two people holding hands, and then we've got two people holding hands. Wow. Oh, this is cute. You know what? I'm gonna come out and say it, guys. Are you dressing up? I mean, you don't have to trick or treat, because I know we're doing social distancing. But if you're dressing up, maybe you're doing a partner's costume. Like one of my sweet friends. She's my when I wrote my book, I wrote a novel of fiction. And my the lady who's my critique partner, and a wonderful editor. They dressed up. Her and her husband dressed up like Calvin and Hobbes. And they were the cutest Calvin and Hobbes. It was just this little hoodie. I think she was Hobbes. And it was this little hoodie with the cat ears. It was so freaking adorable. But I'm feeling a lot of connection here. And again, with the child magical, and you see like the wings here, it's almost like you're having a good time. It is. And again, with the full moon today, I think it's almost like you're having, also Gaia is it's a very earth mother kind of thing. So this could be a very Taurus energy. And honestly, relationships are ruled by, Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus, and Venus is in Libra right now. So you might be having a really sweet, like, having fun with your boo, pun intended, with your significant other, with your husband, your spouse, your wife. But let's go ahead and read Gaia. This is more of a physical body kind of one, but it's Gaia. Gaia, the divine earth mother, is present, making you aware of your marvelous physical body. Her great gift to you. Be grateful for her gift. It's a wondrous temporary home for your spirit. She asks that you give it the respect and attention it deserves and needs. So take care of it with love and attention. Give it adequate rest, a proper diet, and a calm and peaceful environment. Spend time with nature as the earth is a true mother to your body and will restore it. The better you care for your body, the more it will serve your spirit. Listen to your body, its guts, feelings, its flutters, its impulses, as Gaia speaks to you through it. This is the Earth Mother cradling you, protecting you, and guiding you through each day. She advises you to not live in your head alone and ignore your physical self. Without a strong connection to your body, you will be weak and unable to achieve your goals. Gaia's message: pay attention to your body. So here, and again, you see there is a couple here, but you also see kind of fruits and vegetables and flowers. I do think that it might be, I'm getting a strong sense that it might be asking you to pay attention to your diet. Also with the Wolfman, I always kind of think when the moon is full, um, this is such a primal character because again, you remember how in the in all the Wolfman movies and even like the Harry Potter movies, when they became the wolf, you had no recollection of it's kind of like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. The moment you turn into the wolf, you have no idea what you were. It's almost like you have a memory. um, it's almost like you're under the influence of the full moon, you know? And what I kind of get is that, maybe when you're having a good time, you kind of get out of your head a little bit and maybe you start eating foods that aren't good for you. Maybe you go like, back when times were normal and you'd go to a Halloween party and they had, crab dip and all this stuff that would, is going to upset your stomach, but you're like, oh, let's party, I'll be okay. And then, when you become when the moon is gone and you're back to being a human again, you're like, oh my god, you're popping the tums, like, why did I do that? The other thing is that maybe in the last few days you really haven't had a chance to really eat well, and I know it's been a busy time, so that's entirely possible. Maybe you're eating junk food, or I know I'm a hypocrite. I've been drinking way too much coffee. It's almost like I've been drinking more coffee than I've been drinking water, and I've been eating, chips and the processed, real fast kind of foods. That's not a real meal, not a real meal. So here it is kind of telling you to eat more fruits and vegetables, particularly fruits. I'm kind of seeing fruits here. There is also a fish in the scene, and birds. So it might be just asking you and to eat fish if I understand if you're vegan. I'm trying to be better about that. I try not to eat too much meat if I can help it, but I do still like salmon and tuna, which is healthy for you. If it's fresh caught. So I am getting a sense like it's telling you to just kind of eat a little bit better or be mindful of that. Also, you might want to get outside if you have the opportunity. Being out in the sun, and I know it's kind of colder if you're in North America. It's pretty chilly out. It's going to be a pretty cold Halloween. But try to get out. Sunlight does a world of good. The other thing is that if you actually do get a chance to go out and see the moon, like sit under the full moon, there's a lot of cleansing properties. And honestly, how often does that happen? A full moon on Halloween, blue moon. It's going to be a beautiful night. And your number is 31, which boils down to 4. And again, I am getting a lot of earth. There's trees in here. There's nature in the background here. Also, I see stars in 2 of these cards. So again, you might want to go out and look at the moon, look at the stars. But I do see 2 people holding hands. So I think you might be holding hands or connecting with someone. And I do sense that because it's Halloween, and moving on, you got child magical. Seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that anything is possible. The shadow attributes would be pessimism, depression, disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. But I'm definitely seeing more of the positive. I'm seeing more of the positive, and the fact that she's got like fairy wings. I'm getting the sense like maybe you are dressing up, maybe your costume has wings, but I do just feel like a lightheartedness. The other thing is that I talked in the weekly energy card reading about how the spirit of Halloween is really kind of showing a side of your character that you don't express very often. It's almost like the personification of all the things that you kind of hide inside. And Scorpio is very like that, and the sun is in Scorpio, and the moon is opposite Scorpio. So it's almost like you trying to take that inner self and bring it out, like bring it out into the world. This could also be a connection with a person, like maybe you've really had your eye on someone and you haven't really told them or made an effort to connect to them, and on Halloween you have an excuse to. Maybe you're dressing up together. I am getting a sense of corresponding costumes. I'm getting that. I'm really getting that. The other thing is with the Wolfman again. When the moon comes out, you become. It's almost like you're. I'm getting the sense that you would say things that it's what you truly feel. It's like it's your primal feelings, but as the full moon comes out, you're willing to say what you really think and take action based on your true desires. And then honestly, then tomorrow morning, when, and the clocks go back an hour as well for daylight savings, but tomorrow morning you're probably going to be like, oh my god, I totally professed love to that person last night, and you really feel it. You really feel it, but you're like, oh god, the moon was full. I'm not held accountable for my actions. But you got union, which is from the Gospel of the Arcadia. You got union, which is an actual marriage ceremony or a marriage of the minds is near. Without applying pressure, find a way to unite. Take the middle road. Together is better than apart. We are a part of nature, not apart from nature. Oh, wow, guys, that really connects those two cards. We are a part of nature, not apart from nature. And I love that quote. I love that quote. And honestly, this looks like earth magic. I'm feeling a lot of earth magic here. If you do practice, if this is, I feel like I always say this wrong. If it's Saman, if you celebrate Halloween as that time of pivotal energy, you might feel like, again, I'm getting a strong male, female, or spouse, significant other connection here. But I do think that you're going to have a wonderful time. You're going to feel like a kid. And again, I just feel like you're connecting with nature and you're connecting with another person. And I am seeing, I'm seeing a lot of divine masculine, divine feminine, like almost like yin and yang kind of, connection here. But I do think that it's going to be a romantic night. I think it's going to be something kind of special, and it's going to be like a real fun atmosphere. And it could potentially be outside. Maybe you're, at roasting marshmallows or doing something, kind of social distance friendly, of course, outside. And it lets you howl at the moon and really kind of be yourself. And in that process, you might really be connecting to someone and being very authentically yourself. All right, guys, that's really beautiful energy. I love that pile, guys. I love the Wolfman pile. That's great. All right, so we're moving right along. We got the fourth pile. And is this Endora? I don't know. I forget the name. I know in both Wizard of Oz and, in the play Wicked, a lot of movies. Oh, wow, this is really beautiful, guys. So from your Ask Your Guides, you got Shadow, Divine Healers. From your Archetype cards, you got Engineer. And then from your Gospel of the Arcadia, you got Hedge, or the Hedge. And this is very Green Man energy. If you study kind of, again, all the piles have been kind of earth magic a little bit. But the shadow card is number 25, which breaks down, which combines to be a 7. So if your lucky number is 7, or maybe it's a birth number, or maybe you're born on the 25th day of the month. But you got shadow, and I get this card a lot. It's really quite beautiful. It is talking about shadow work or your shadow self, and it's talking about divine healers. And what I think is beautiful, and just before we read it, the character of the Wicked Witch of the West, in every single, there was a really great movie that came out. It was a mini-series on, I think, the Sci-Fi Network. It was a long time ago, but it was called Tin Man. And it was a good premise, but it talked about how the Wicked Witch of the West became that way. And honestly, a lot of the other movies talk about that too, like Wicked, the play. And, it's almost like, again, I always like in writing and as an author, I never like those characters that are just bad for the sake of being bad. I love those stories that talk about the real reason that someone might be perceived as being, the bad guy. And that really plays into shadow work, right? And what better example of your shadow self than the Wicked Witch of the West? Because I don't think that she was all wicked, right? But shadow, divine healers. Let's go ahead and we'll read this real quick. It says, although no one likes to admit it, we all have our dark sides and shadows. Those less than flattering facets of our personality that take delight in abusing or shaming others and wielding power in the most unfair ways. Whether it's the condescending remark to the slow-moving grocery bagger at the supermarket, the aggressive hand gesture directed towards the maneuvering driver on the road, meandering driver on the road, or the belittling comment made to your uncooperative child. Many of us are guilty of hurting or deriding others at times. Your divine healers are present now to help you witness your shadow, lovingly making you aware that it's actually contempt for yourself and your vulnerability that fuels such hostility towards others. These gentle but powerful higher forces surround you in love and urge you to accept and embrace your weaker aspects, rather than harshly rejecting yourself by attacking those aspects in others. Ease up and be more tolerant of yourself. If you do so, those shadows will give way to light and healing. Your divine healer's message: ask for help and accept our light. Wow. So, and you look at that, there's a lot of flame there too, right? And it's interesting, and again, with the Wicked Witch of the West, she felt power because she probably, I even said that sometimes we pull those domineering we pull out those domineering feelings because we feel like we're powerless, but then we end up coming on too strong. The other thing that I love about this card, and I get this card quite a bit, is like, for instance, sometimes we get jealous. Sometimes we look at someone else and say, well, they have that, their life is perfect, da 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 da. And this happens in a social media context too. Same thing with this. She was very, she'd look at her sister, the Glenda, the Good Witch, and be like, well, she's acting like her stuff don't stink. But what it is that, like, for instance, I have curly hair, but it's very, very fine. It's very thin. And so when I put it, I always joke, anytime I put it into a ponytail, I always call it the Pebbles Flintstone. It's like this little sprig. I look like a toddler. It's this little tiny ponytail. And it isn't that my hair quality isn't lovely. It's very beautiful. I've had people go, I love your curls, And even my dad, used to say, you have naturally curly hair. You're so lucky. And, but me, it was always kind of a curse, right? It was always kind of a curse. And, but also when you look at it, you're never happy with what you have, right? And I would always look. There was one coworker that I had that had this really beautiful long hair. And I'd get a little jealous. I'd get a little insecure. I'd be like, I could never have that, right? But what it is it's a call to appreciate the ways that you're different, right? And what I learned, and actually with my Halloween costume today, I dressed up as kind of a low-key Wonder Woman. I'm not wearing the golden undies or the star-spangled underwear. I'm not doing that because it's way too cold and I can't pull that off. But what I did do is I wasn't finding a lasso of truth that I liked, so I made one. I braided ribbon. I know that sounds crazy, but it turned out good. But I ended up feeling really, I have like a t-shirt and I have the cuffs and I have the headband, but I also have the wig. And this wig is a lot of hair. It's a lot of hair. It's like straight up, down to my hips hair. And I'm like, wow, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to have that much hair, right? And I'm like, you know what? This is nice for one night, but I wouldn't want to have to deal with this. I mean, curly hair, yeah, it's a pain, but almost because it's curly, it looks thicker than what it is. So that's a benefit, right? So what I'm almost thinking is that with your shadow self, it's almost in that vein. You can look at someone else, and again, it's like the curse of social media. You look at someone else and you think their life is perfect because social media is the highlight reel, but if you look at those, there's several people on Instagram that have real body positive channels that show you. It's funny, you see the one Instagram picture where this person looks like they have the perfect butt, or they have the perfect legs, the perfect hair, the perfect eyelashes. And then they turn around. If they actually showed you the 30 other outtake photos that led up to that, and then that photo was totally filtered and photoshopped, you'd be like, oh God, this person has the same problems that I do. That backdrop is not, yes, it's a beautiful sunset, but, there's a seagull chomping on a French fry there. There's cigarette butts everywhere. They're in the same background that you are. Their life isn't any different. They just have different challenges, right? And they probably have to deal with that thick hair every day. I saw a cute post over, I think it was on Linda Carter's page, or it was on Gal Gadot, they both play Wonder Woman, that talked about how that scene when, in the Wonder Woman movie, the new one, she's running around and, and somebody commented, girl, I know you can't see a damn thing with your hair in your face. And I giggled. And I giggled because that's so shadow self. It's like, God, it's like that wig I put on. It's like, this is nice. This is great. I got hair to my butt. And then you're like, but yeah, you go sliding into a room, that hair's in your face. You can't see crap. And, when you brush, you get hair everywhere. And you got to shave 3 times a week. You focus on the benefits of what you have, and try not to harsh on others when you think that they have something better than you. The other thing is that you got engineer, which is ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. One thing that I kind of get with this too is that maybe you might feel like you're uncreative. Again, the engineer is very logical. Anytime I see this card, I think of engineers, and what it is that I know several people. I have friends her husband is an engineer, and it's interesting when you talk to them. They're the most brilliant person in the world, but it's almost being left-brained versus right-brained. You know how people who are engineers, they can think like the architects, the mathematicians. They're not really arts and crafts, right? They're not the English and art majors of the world, but they have a brilliant mind, like you're problem solvers. So the vibe I'm also kind of getting, especially with the Wicked Witch of the West, is that maybe you feel like other people are more creative than you are. But what it's telling you is you do have creativity, but it's in your way, and that's a practical way. Maybe you solving a foundation problem of a house is far more beneficial than you being able to color a pretty picture, right? But I am almost getting that I think that there might be a little bit of jealousy here, because also the Wicked Witch of the West also, you can see she was very controlled. Like she had her flying monkeys and she had her kingdom, and she was trying to control things. She was not very. The other thing that I kind of get is that you kind of like everything being in its place. You like 1 + 2 = 3. You don't like any extrapolation. The other thing that I get is that you like it being very linear. When things start going out, imaginary numbers or things off the beaten path, or the left brain creative visionary, it kind of annoys you, and it's not a bad thing. It's just it's almost like what you're doing, and you see that these two faces are facing the same direction. I do think that maybe sometimes when you can't come up with a creative solution to something, or when you are so factual and kind of controlled in the way that you do things, you get upset, and then you get more controlling but that's your shadow side. And the way that you work through it is, again, it's that healing. It's that, just like me and my thin curly hair, my thin curly hair is beautiful. And actually I washed it today after wearing the wig last night, and it's like it's popping back up, like, hey, look at me. And I might not even wear the wig tonight because I don't want to. I'm happier with what I got. And it's almost like telling you, appreciate what you got. I think that you also don't realize that what you have is a contribution to society, and just like other people might have things that you don't have, there are things that you have that no one else does. But the biggest thing is that the one thing with engineers is that they can be kind of dry. I do kind of see this as being a little bit of the harsh father kind of thing, like when your little kid comes bouncing in a Halloween costume, and you're like, did you make that cape yourself? It's all uneven. You didn't measure it. You didn't, you're a little, you probably feel like you're a little bit of a killjoy, and it's cautioning against that. Just because other people are doing their left brain kind of out left field, less than linear thing, appreciate the way that you bring your practical approach, but try to exercise that shadow self. And if it is some form of envy or jealousy, try to recognize what you do. And the other thing is that I've noticed that compliments, if you go up to that person and say, like, I'd go up to my coworker and go, gosh, your hair is beautiful. I would love to have that for a day. It's, I'll guarantee you that person will probably turn around and go, and God, that's so, a lot of times they're surprised because you're such a powerhouse in your own right, the Wicked Witch of the West, she was really awesome in her way. And a lot of times someone will turn around and go, God, they'll turn around and compliment you back and say, well, I wish I had, this. I can't, I've never been able to figure out math problems the way that you do or fix problems linear the way you do. I wish I had that for a day, So it's kind of exercising that shadow. The other thing I get is it's a lot of self-criticism too, because I think that is a character trait between engineers. It's like you want to be perfect, or you might hate on other people because you think they're perfect, which is definitely that Wizard of Oz, Wicked Witch of the West thing. But your Gospel of the Arcadia, you got Hedge. I'm sorry, I'm showing you the book. I'm supposed to be showing you the card. Oh gosh, guys. Well, yeah. But the Hedge, it talks about, it says, find and hold your own personal boundaries. We can't be completely open with everyone. Having healthy boundaries is an act of positive self-love. Our plant allies can heal and nourish us. Plant a municipal garden. So plant a municipal garden, like medicine, like if you plant calendula, or if you plant peppermint, or something that you use for medicine purposes, echinacea. Now, what I see here is when it talks about boundaries. Oh, that's really beautiful, guys, because it was like that too. This character was very guarded. So the other thing is it talked about self-love. So basically, you don't have to be like someone else. You can acknowledge your limitations. And if you feel like someone's making you feel bad for the way that you are, put up a boundary. There are healthy aspects to this. The other thing is that in the story of the Wicked Witch of the West, I think there were some areas that she really was abused. She was bullied just the same way, but because she stood up for herself, she was made out to be the villain, right? So I'm getting a theme here. The other thing is that being a witch, I'm kind of thinking of a mortar and a pestle. Maybe you do mix herbs, and not in a bad way. I know people who make candles, and they put different elements in it. Maybe you do make your own tea. But it is talking about, kind of healing from the earth. And it is talking about a lot of self-acceptance here too. Don't put up with anybody mistreating you just because you're different, but also don't mistreat others if they're different than you. And I am getting a sense of envy there. But this is a really glorious energy, guys. And honestly, engineer is really, really good. A lot of times engineers are misunderstood because, again, they're the problem solvers, and you think differently, right? All right. So last but not least, we got the zombie. We got the zombie. And that was me yesterday after a long week. No, I'm kidding. So we got invention, we got thief, and we got pilgrimage. Pilgrimage. I'm sorry. I don't know what I said just now. Pilgrimage. And I love the daisies. But so let's go ahead and get started. In invention, I get this card a lot. I think it's really, really neat. First off, you got tulips, and you see someone painting, right? You see someone being creative. And you also see hands of the universe, and it talks about creativity guides. So it's almost like, first off, I get the sense you're getting a lot of creative intuition from the universe, from your higher power. And that could be God, it could be the universe. But you're getting a lot of inspiration that seems It's almost like just I think it was pile one. It's like resting when you do something like having a hobby. Like I like to scrapbook. I like to journal. Any hobby that you do, maybe you like to paint. Any hobby that you do is very cathartic. It not even cathartic. It's therapeutic. And it really does. It's proven that hobbies not only help you develop creative skills, but it's a natural de-stressing kind of agent. It gets you to decompress. It gets you out of your head, and it gets you, just like the last pile was more right brained, it gets you into your left brain. And this is number 26 that boils down to, it combines to being an 8. And today is a full moon. It's a full blue moon. And the sun is in 8 degrees Scorpio. The moon is 8 degrees Taurus. And the planet of Uranus is also 8 degrees Taurus. So that's an 8. Maybe 26 is your birth number. Maybe 8 is your birth number. Or if it's just your lucky number. 8 is also the ruler of Saturn or life cycles. When you look at an 8 on its side, it looks like the infinity symbol. So those symbols thrown out. And also tulip is a lot about creative it's like new, a spark of something new or something. But this interpretation is really beautiful. I love the book's guidance here. It says, sometimes life gives you lemons, but not to worry. Your creativity guides are on hand, helping you transform your lemons into lemonade. No matter who you are or what circumstances you've inherited, life is always a blend of both positive and the negative. Your creativity guides urge you to be grateful for the pluses in your life and be creative with the negatives. They'll help you use your inventiveness to transform any situation into one for the better. So rather than dwell on your lousy childhood, true though it may have been, appreciate the courage it developed in you and use it to change your unsupportive past into a self-reliant present. Rather than endure an unfulfilling job, be resourceful and start the business you've dreamed of for years. This is not to deny the pain in your life, but to use it as an incentive to move to higher ground. Allow your creativity guides to serve you. They're not afraid of the lemons you encounter in life. Gather their juice as fuel to invent a much better circumstances, and ask them for inspiration and ideas. They have plenty to share. Their message is, when you get lemons, make lemonade. And I get this card a lot, and I do love it because, it's funny when bad things happen in life, or when you kind of run into a challenge in life. Sometimes you think, gosh, I'm just, why am I so unlucky? But what it is it's, in photography, when you take a picture, there are 3 baths of chemicals, right? Traditional photography. When you develop a picture, you take the photo and you put it into one bath of chemicals, then you put it into a rinse bath, and then so it's like you put it into a developer, and then you put it into a rinse, and then you put it into a stabilization kind of bath. And what that is that's agitation. On a molecular level, the chemicals in that water, in that chemical bath, is developing the photo. And that's what it's doing through you. And you've seen that, and it's funny that I mentioned hobbies because I'm fascinated by hobbies. There's a lot of great videos here on YouTube. There's a really great video that talks about the origin of everything. And it's a PBS sponsored channel, and it's so great. And it talked about the origin of hobbies. And hobbies are really important. And it's funny, sometimes they get labeled as being a waste of time, a waste of money. But hobbies, in times of war, hobbies acted not only as an expression, as a secondary skill that is a creative outlet, but it also acted as a backup form of income. And when you think about it, you look at Etsy, you look at all these channels, it's funny. Maybe you like knitting, maybe you like crocheting, maybe you like making videos. Maybe you like making documentaries. Maybe you have a fascination with those little wooden ships inside of a bottle. Whatever you like to do, that is a rare skill. And I honestly think, artisanship, the ability to to study the nuances of some kind of craft is a dying art. I feel like it's just, and hobbies help you cultivate that. And it's so funny. There's a channel here that's Jennifer McGuire Inc. And she's a great scrapbooker. She started as scrapbooking and then she later transitioned into card making, and she's the best card maker you've ever seen. She can do anything with skills. And what it's kind of telling you is that if you feel like you're in a hard place in your life, if you feel like you're just down and out, or maybe something happened recently that's just making you feel really not good enough, and it can be some toughy stuff. Like it can be a loss of a job. Maybe you've got a demotion at work and you're making less money, or maybe maybe something's going on in your family that's an expense at a time when things are really tough. Again, we got a pandemic going on. Maybe you're working really hard at work and it just feels really kind of grueling. That investment into something creative. Also, if you feel kind of lost and you need something to help be a creative outlet, it's almost like say a little prayer for it, or just kind of put it out in the universe. Ask your guides, whatever that be, your higher power, God, the universe, then your spirit animal. Say, what can I do? What can I do that can develop a skill that's a relief to me and is a hobby that really, because that might become your side hustle, guys. And again, with it boiling down to an 8 and the full moon being in the 8 degree, I really feel like it's almost like a shift in your life. The other thing is that it talked about not letting anything negative get you down. So, if you do have external forces that are just making you feel miserable, maybe, again, I feel like this zombie, I am kind of getting a feeling like maybe you're working too much, or that you feel like you're just dragging through life. Like life is just, walk, step, that you really do need to do something that makes you feel alive, that makes you feel vital. And so that would be turning lemons into lemonade. But it is really indicating that there's some opportunity here. There's some development of you. And maybe because you're on autopilot, you're not seeing this opportunity. But they're saying that if you don't know what that opportunity is, say a little prayer or just be open. Be like, hey, please send me a sign. I love to do that. I love to be like, hey, send me a sign. And it never fails. You'll get something that has like a neon, flashing light around it. Like, this is your sign, you should be doing this. But I do get the sense that it's going to be utilizing some kind of like you're going to be turning some kind of perceived negative or some kind of, the other thing is I'm getting the sense that you're taking you're turning crap into gold. And I know that's a crude way to say it, but you really are. You're turning some kind of byproduct that doesn't look great, like lemons, and you're adding sugar. And I always joke, I always roll my eyes a little bit when someone says, well, make lemonade. And I'm like, well, to make lemonade, you need sugar. Where's the sugar coming from? Is the sugar coming from me? Because, sometimes I'm feeling a little salty. But, but yes, it is asking you to add the sugar. And maybe you are the sugar. But it is kind of just saying, you've got some kind of surplus that seems negative, but you can take it and turn it into a material. You can turn it into a workable material. And you can create something out of it. And that something that you create might benefit you in the long run. And I do feel like this is some kind of personal development. Now, the middle card you got Thief. And it says, sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. And then the other thing is stealing money, creative ideas. That's the negative attribute. Here, I'm really reading it in the positive. I'm reading it as the sheds light on potential wealth within you that no one can ever take. Maybe you feel like someone's taken advantage of you. Maybe someone stole your time or stole your attention, stole your love, because he has this heart. And, I always look at this dude as, you've ever seen the stereotypical, if someone on the street corner, they open up the trench and like, hey, you want to buy a watch? And that watch, is a hot watch. It's not theirs. They stole it. But, what you see here is that I do think that someone may have stolen your heart. and maybe you're turning to creativity. Again, maybe you feel like you're in zombie state. The other thing I do see with zombie is that you've heard of the phrase ghosting, and of course, it being Halloween, let's go full out with all the puns. When somebody starts talking to you and then they up and disappear and then just drop off the face of the planet, they call that ghosting. But when somebody ghosts and then they come back and then they ghost and then they come back, the colloquialism or the Urban Dictionary definition is zombieing. You're coming back from the dead. You ghosted. And so this could potentially be someone that's kind of, it could be someone that's in and out of your life and they keep stealing your heart and they keep disappearing. Or more often, I think that maybe you're healing from something like that, or you really do feel like maybe you feel like in dating in general that people just take advantage of you. And you want to be stronger than that, and you don't want to be sitting in those negative emotions of feeling like you got taken advantage of. So you're kind of, it's almost like in that healing, like in the How to Tarot for the Six of Swords, it is kind of that meh feeling, like sometimes you're just drifting through life, and again, you're kind of just trying to go one step forward, and it feels, and I think that's where the creative guides are really entreating you. Okay, you don't have to, part of my French, you don't have to sit in the shit. You could be doing something creative during this time that would not only distract you, it would give you a skill that makes you feel good, and it would let you express yourself, right? Now, the last card really plays in that too, because I love this card. It's Pilgrimage. And it's so cute. I love the sandals. I think of that Marvel movie where, she's like, what are those? Why are you showing your feet in my lab? So I think that's so great. But it's like Birkenstocks. And I love daisies. Daisies are my favorite flower. They mean friendliness too, but this is a really positive card guide. So Pilgrimage. And what it says is it says, finding the solution is a journey. It may take time to solve. While this negative situation will eventually pass, take action regarding it, no matter how seemingly insignificant that action might be. Time spent in nature is important to your healing. Travel with a deeper purpose. Wow, guys, I think that this really plays in. I think that you're in a negative situation. You might be in a negative situation. Maybe this involves somebody. Maybe, again, I really do kind of feel like someone's more affecting your feelings than they are. It could be finances, it could be an ex or a breakup situation. But, it could be a family situation too, because it involves the heart. Maybe you feel kind of oppressed and you feel like all you can do is, just do the zombie, kind of feel like you're dead, walking, dead man walking. Where did that come from? Dead man walking. But what it's kind of saying is it's saying that, yes, you're in the middle of the negative situation. Yes, those feelings are there. But you can kind of take those negative feelings and use it as a development device. And something really positive and creative can come out of that. And it is also, I'm getting the sense that this is growth. This is growth. But it is saying that you want to listen to the creativity guides. You don't want to just sit with the lemons and think, okay, these are lemons, there's nothing I can do with it. Yes, you do have to add your sugar to it, and it might be your sugar. But Pilgrimage really talks about, it says that, it said, you don't have to stay in those negative emotions. You could try to, take steps. And it also said that those steps might feel inconsequential. You might think, okay, well, how is painting a painting is going to make me feel any better about this? It really will. It really will. It might seem insignificant, but it's going to be there to help you grow and help you express yourself. The other thing is that maybe something about your experience can help other people, and that creative expression of it, like, again, maybe you went through a really bad divorce or breakup, and then all of a sudden you start, doing, YouTube videos, or maybe you start doing exercise classes through TikTok as like a 10-second, hey, try this. You might be, that expression might seem like nothing. Like, okay, I was depressed, I felt like doing this. It really might, it would help heal you, and it might also help heal others, and it will develop a skill in you. The other thing I get is that you might need to go on a little bit of a sabbatical or a journey. Sometimes just getting away, like for my birthday, I got away for a few days, and that was really wonderful. That was really a wonderful time. But however you express it, I think getting away, and of course, be mindful of its pandemic world. But also getting away into nature. Maybe also just getting away by yourself, someplace in nature. Go out. I know it's kind of cold out, but if you go out, also with the full moon being tonight, maybe you just go out and sit under the stars or look at the moon. Those little moments of connection will really kind of take you out of these uncomfortable feelings, and it'll help. It'll be like one little zombie step, in the right direction. So, wow, guys, oh gosh. So that was really positive. I enjoyed the read as always, and yay. Okay, so now that the reading's over, let's go ahead and dun, 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 dun. Let's go ahead and see what is my movie monster. So, and I am going to be taking pictures. I'm going to be sharing this with my mama. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. What's my monster? What did I get? Oh, that's so cool. Guys, I got Frankenstein. Oh, he's so cool. And we even said tonight, and he is kind of, it's interesting. He's not hard plastic. It's almost like a vinyl, but he's not squishy. That's really cool. I like him. And he's got a little clip. That's so cool. And tonight on Svengoolie, it's Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome. But all right, guys, so that's my monster. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful Halloween. Please be safe, have fun, dress up. And if you're so inclined, please join me on Tuesday. We're going to do the How to Tarot, and we are talking about the Eight of Swords. So I look forward to seeing you, and have a great weekend. Bye.